All right, so right now we're going to run through an example equation. In this case, this is going to be our score for Travis Kelce for the week. You can see he's got rushing yards, touchdowns, receptions, receiving yards. That'll all be from the box office. This is what you're going to receive, this big long equation. If you remember, our first step when we're solving something like this is to break it down into pieces and see if we can solve those pieces. These are already broken down for us into 4 smaller equations that have parentheses around them. So let's go ahead and solve each parentheses first. We're going to start over here with 1 over 8 times negative 4. If you're multiplying a fraction and a whole number, it's pretty simple. All we're going to do is multiply the whole number by the numerator of the fraction, which in this case is just 1. So we're going to be left with negative 4 over 8. I'll go ahead and keep those parentheses. We're going to go on to our next location. Here we've got 4 times 0. Very simple. Anything times 0 is 0. So we're going to just bring down the 0. And we'll go ahead and maintain our equation here. Same situation here as we had in the beginning. We're going to end up with 13 over 2. And our final one is going to be 100 over 8. All right, so now you can see we've successfully broken down our original equation. Now we've got a smaller, simpler equation, but this is still a little bit complicated. There's kind of a lot going on. So I'm going to break it down even further. And I'm going to just solve the first half of the equation and then the second half of the equation. I'm going to go ahead and just draw a little line here to mark that off in my head. First half of the equation, very easy. We're adding 0 to a number, which is always just a number. So, negative 4 over 8 gets to stay. Right side of our equation, a little bit more complicated. When we're adding 2 fractions, we can't add them unless the denominators are the same. And in this case, they are not the same. Here the denominator is 2, here the denominator is 8. Easiest thing to do in this case is to multiply one denominator by some number in order to increase it to be equal to the other denominator. So we're going to multiply this 2 by 4 because 2 times 4 is 8, and then our denominators will be the same. So here's 2 times 4, but if I want to multiply a denominator by a number, I have to multiply the numerator by that same number. So I'm going to multiply the numerator by 4 as well. Now, let's go ahead and go on to that step. We're left with 52 over 8. This number can maintain, so we've got 100 over 8. Now that our denominators are the same, we can just add the numerators with nothing else different. So we're going to be left with 152 over 8. Now we can go ahead and remember our other half of the equation. Reminder that we were adding these 2 numbers together. Once again, our denominators are the same, so that makes it easy on us. All we do is negative 4 plus 152. We're going to end up with 148 over 8.
Go.
All right, so we've got our answer of 148 over 8. But if you remember, our goal is to end up with either a whole number or a mixed number, which means that a pure fraction like this with a higher numerator than a denominator is not what we're looking for right now. So we need to start simplifying this fraction. There's a couple different ways that you can go about this, but I'm going to start with the easiest one in my mind, which is I see that these 2 numbers are both even, which means I can divide them both by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and divide 8 by 2, which will be 4. And then I'm going to divide 148 by 2. this might take a little bit of extra time. You can use another piece of paper to show your work. But you're going to end up with 74. Now, you can see again that these two numbers are even. So I'm going to go ahead and divide them by 2 again. Divide by 2. Divide them by 2. That's going to give us 2 over 37. Okay, now we get to the tricky part. 2 is no longer divisible, and 37 is not divisible by 2. So, what we need to do is end up with a mixed number. The way that I'm going to solve this right now is I'm going to split 37 into a number that I know is divisible by 2. There's a lot of different ways to solve it. You might have your own method that you prefer. But what I'm going to do is split 37 into 36 plus 1. Now I'm doing this because I know that 36 is even, which means that it's divisible by 2. So once I've split it into 36 and 1, I'm going to go ahead and split it again visually for you here, which will just be 36 over 2 plus 1 over 2. Now, 36 over 2 is solvable because both the top is even, so it means it's divisible by 2. We're going to go ahead and do that, which will leave us with 18, and we keep our 1 over 2, which is just 1/2. So we end up with 18 and a half as our final answer.